Elsa Ukrainin is about to marry Julius Royus, the heir to a powerful duke's family, even though she's never met him. In fact, the first time she sees her future husband is just minutes before the wedding. To her surprise, he's ridiculously handsome, making this arranged marriage feel a little less terrifying. Elsa comes from a once noble family that has long since fallen into poverty. These days, their meals are usually nothing more than bread and vegetables, but they make the best of what they have. She lives a quiet life with her kind parents, Lucas and Sophia, and her younger brother, James, who never misses a chance to complain that dinner is too small. Despite their struggles, Elsa treasures her family and is happy as long as they're together. Still, winter is approaching, and Elsa knows happiness alone won't keep everyone warm or fed. At 19 years old, she's already received several marriage proposals from nobles, and she starts thinking that marrying into a wealthy family might be the only way to secure a better future for her parents and brother. Just as she's about to tell her family she's ready to accept a proposal, they reveal some unexpected news. Julius Royus, the heir to a duchy, has personally sent a marriage proposal asking for her hand. The only problem is, Elsa has absolutely no idea who Julius is. Her brother explains that Julius is famous for serving as Prince Alexis's right-hand man in the Kingdom of Ralt, the kingdom their family serves under. Since Elsa's family lost most of its status generations ago, they never attend noble gatherings, so she's never crossed paths with high-ranking nobles. James immediately smells something fishy. Why would such an important man want to marry a girl he's never even met? To him, it has to be some kind of hidden scheme. Elsa, however, has a much simpler way of looking at it. Julius promises to repair her family's old house and make sure they never have to worry about money again. That's all she needs to hear. If marrying a stranger means her parents can live comfortably and her brother can continue his studies, she's willing to do it without hesitation. Her parents worry that she's sacrificing her own happiness, but Elsa smiles because, to her, seeing her family happy is happiness enough. Before long, the wedding day arrives. Elsa looks stunning in her wedding dress, and at the ceremony she finally meets Julius in person. Despite looking mature enough to be much older than her, he's incredibly charming, polite, and surprisingly gentle. Instead of treating her like part of a business deal, he treats her with genuine respect, which immediately puts her at ease. The wedding is far more beautiful than Elsa ever imagined. After the ceremony, Julius even hosts a garden party just for her because he heard she loves gardening. Elsa can't help but laugh a little at the misunderstanding. Back home, she doesn't have a fancy garden, just a small vegetable patch. Even so, she appreciates the thoughtful gesture, and for the first time, this unexpected marriage doesn't seem so frightening after all. Now that Elsa is officially Julius's wife, she's suddenly thrown into the glamorous world of high society. The first noble she meets is Julius's childhood friend, Rebecca Ricon. Rebecca admits she was surprised Julius got married at all, but she's warm, friendly, and absolutely stunning. Then again, to Elsa, everyone in the noble world looks like they walked straight out of a fairy tale. Growing up in the countryside doesn't exactly prepare you for this level of elegance. Unfortunately, not everyone is so welcoming. The next noble, Serafina Pernilla, takes one look at Elsa and immediately insults her, saying she looks even more like a country girl than she expected. Before Serafina can say anything else, Elsa's parents arrive, overjoyed to see their daughter enjoying such a beautiful wedding. They warmly thank Julius for giving Elsa a day she'll never forget, and the awkward moment quickly comes to an end. After the celebrations, Elsa finally arrives at her new home, a massive mansion filled with more servants than she can count. Everything is completely different from the tiny house she grew up in, and she can't help wondering if she'll ever get used to living like this. The servants are all polite and welcoming, making her feel surprisingly comfortable. At least until Julius leads her upstairs. Since it's their wedding night, Elsa naturally assumes this is where married life officially begins. Instead, Julius suddenly drops the kind husband act. In a calm but emotionless voice, he tells her he has no intention of loving her. Their marriage is nothing more than a contract. All he expects is for her to behave like a proper duchess, stay out of his personal affairs, smile whenever they're in public, and avoid doing anything that could damage his reputation. Other than that, she's free to do whatever she wants. Julius points out that Elsa also accepted the marriage for practical reasons. She wanted to save her struggling family, so he assumes she'll understand. What he doesn't expect is her reaction. Instead of getting upset, Elsa smiles, agrees with everything he said, and even offers him a handshake like they're closing a business deal. As far as she's concerned, that's exactly what they're doing. Honestly, Elsa couldn't be happier with the arrangement. She now has a beautiful room, delicious meals every day, people taking care of her, and the peace of mind that her family will never struggle again. Whether her husband loves her or not barely matters. Compared to worrying about freezing through winter or going hungry, this feels like winning the lottery. Later that night, Elsa unpacks the few belongings she brought from home. She never had much to begin with, but among her things is a precious music box, the wedding gift from her parents. They hoped she would one day listen to its melody with the person she truly loved. Touched by their feelings, Elsa promises to treasure it forever, knowing it's the most valuable gift her family could possibly give her. Meanwhile, Julius can't stop thinking about her unexpected response. She reacted nothing like he imagined, leaving him more confused than ever. It turns out Julius didn't choose Elsa on his own. The one who ordered the marriage was Prince Alexis. There's a very good reason for that. Even though Elsa grew up in poverty, she carries the blood of an ancient royal family. Long ago, the Ukrainian kingdom was a powerful nation that rebelled against the kingdom of Ralt. The rebellion failed, their kingdom was destroyed, and the royal family fell from grace. Over the generations, they were reduced to ordinary nobles with shrinking lands, but their royal bloodline never disappeared. Because Elsa is descended from both the former Ukrainian royals and the Ralt royal family, she could become a valuable target for anyone hoping to claim power through marriage. Prince Alexis wants to prevent that from happening, so he asks his most trusted aide, Julius, to marry her and keep her out of the hands of anyone with dangerous ambitions. Julius accepts without hesitation, simply because it was a direct order from the prince. Meanwhile, Serafina returns home and wastes no time complaining about Julius's new wife to her brother, Yarmo. It's pretty obvious she's upset because she had feelings for Julius, and watching him marry someone else stings a little. Yarmo, however, isn't interested in the gossip. Instead, he becomes curious about the mysterious woman who managed to become Julius's wife. As for Elsa, she's living her best life already. She's stretched out on a soft, luxurious bed, wrapped in warm blankets, and for the first time in years, she doesn't have to worry about freezing through the winter. Compared to her old life, this feels like a dream, so she's perfectly happy to enjoy every moment and let the future worry about itself. We finally learn why Julius is always so cold and serious. He grew up in a house where love practically didn't exist. His parents never loved each other. Their marriage was nothing more than a political arrangement, and watching that completely shattered Julius's belief in love and happy families. He had buried those painful memories long ago, but now that he's engaged again, the nightmares have started creeping back. Meanwhile, Elsa is living her best life in the mansion. She's somehow become friends with the chefs, cooks, and even the maids. Julius even gives her a small patch of land for a flower garden, and she immediately turns it into a vegetable farm instead. Priorities. The only time she and Julius really spend together is during breakfast, where she's always cheerful and kind. Her genuine warmth leaves Julius completely confused because he's never met someone quite like her. During breakfast, Elsa notices that Julius always leaves his salad untouched. The maids tell her not to worry because he's hated vegetables for as long as anyone can remember. But Elsa refuses to accept defeat. Like a mom trying to trick a picky little kid, she starts thinking of ways to secretly hide vegetables inside his other food so he'll eat them without noticing. One day, Elsa receives several letters, including a lovely invitation from Marchioness Rebecca. She's the same noblewoman who welcomed Elsa at the wedding and mentioned that she had been Julius's childhood friend. Rebecca invites Elsa to a traditional tea party, and Elsa happily accepts. However, Elsa isn't the only guest. Serafina Parnilla, the noblewoman who previously looked down on Elsa for being a commoner, also decides to attend after hearing Elsa might be there. Elsa arrives feeling nervous, but Rebecca warmly welcomes her and says she's been eager to hear how married life with Julius has been going. Since she knows Julius better than almost anyone, she had been worried about them. Hearing that everything is going smoothly puts her mind at ease. Rebecca introduces Elsa to several noble ladies, including Seraphina. Acting as if nothing ever happened, Seraphina greets Elsa with a fake smile and polite words. As they chat, Seraphina slowly begins dropping little comments about Julius, bragging that he used to give her gifts and saying how kind and charming he has always been around women. She clearly hopes to plant seeds of jealousy, but Elsa is so innocent that the plan flies right over her head. Instead of getting upset, Elsa simply becomes curious to learn more about her husband. Rebecca, on the other hand, sees exactly what Seraphina is trying to do. She quickly steps in and reminds Seraphina to watch her manners. Rebecca points out that Seraphina belongs to a count's family, while Rebecca herself is a marchioness. Elsa, however, is now part of Julius's ducal family, making her a duchess and the highest-ranking woman in the room. It was the classiest verbal smackdown imaginable. Completely embarrassed after getting shut down so effortlessly, Seraphina makes an excuse and leaves the party. Rebecca then tells Elsa that Seraphina had never accepted any of her previous tea invitations, making it obvious she came only to cause trouble. But Elsa hadn't even realized she was being insulted. Seeing how pure and kind-hearted Elsa is, Rebecca can't help but think that someone like Julius needs to protect someone as innocent as her, because people like Elsa are incredibly rare. Once the other guests leave, Rebecca and Elsa finally get a chance to talk in private. Rebecca admits she's been worried about how Elsa's marriage with Julius will turn out, so she tells her something very few people know. Julius used to work as an intelligence agent for the royal family. His job was to get close to noblewomen, earn their trust, gather information, and then quietly disappear. That's why so many women dislike him. To them, he looked like a heartbreaker, but in reality, he was simply doing his duty. Julius was always able to keep his emotions under control and never let himself fall in love. Partly because of the painful family he grew up in, Rebecca doesn't tell Elsa this to scare her, but to prepare her for the challenges that might come with being Julius's wife. Elsa, however, isn't convinced for even a second that Julius could be a bad person. She explains that many men wanted to marry her only because they looked down on her family and wanted something from them. Julius was completely different. He asked for nothing except that she become his wife. He lets her do whatever she likes, is renovating her family's home, improving the lives of the people living there, and is even helping her younger brother continue his education. To Elsa, those aren't the actions of a cruel man. They're the actions of someone genuinely kind. Rebecca can't help but smile. She realizes there probably isn't anyone more perfect for Julius than Elsa. Instead of worrying about his mysterious past, Elsa's biggest concern is something much more important: getting him to eat vegetables. She immediately asks Rebecca what kinds of food Julius liked as a child. Rebecca laughs, amazed that Julius is still as picky as ever, and remembers that his favorite dish used to be gratin. Elsa's eyes light up. Perfect. That's another delicious disguise for sneaking vegetables onto his plate. Now even more determined to be the best wife she can be, Elsa starts preparing for Julius's upcoming 24th birthday. Rebecca mentions that Julius never celebrates his birthday, but that only motivates Elsa even more. At the same time, the servants are decorating the mansion with bright sunflowers because the Kingdom of Rals is about to celebrate the Sun Festival, an important holiday honoring the kingdom's founding. Elsa recognizes the festival because her hometown celebrated a smaller version of it, and she's excited that she'll finally get to experience the grand celebration in the capital. Elsewhere, Prince Alexis meets with Julius and the captain of the royal guards to discuss security for the upcoming festival. This year's celebration will need tighter protection because they suspect Count Pernilla Seraphina's father is planning something suspicious. Even the son of Count Yarmo has been making questionable moves. Alexis knows he's made plenty of political enemies, but he's confident that Julius and his security chief will keep him safe. Of course, Alexis can't resist asking about Julius's married life. Hearing that everything is going well brings him genuine relief. After all, Alexis was the one who repeatedly assigned Julius those undercover missions involving noblewomen, fully aware of how emotionally draining they were. Still, one thought keeps echoing in Julius's mind after their conversation. The prince confidently tells him that he and Elsa will make a wonderful couple. That evening, Julius returns home expecting the usual routine. Every morning Elsa sends him off with a smile, and every evening she's waiting to welcome him back. But this time, something feels different. The mansion is unusually quiet, the lights are dim, and only the butlers greet him at the entrance. When Julius walks into the dining room, he's met with a beautiful surprise. Elsa has secretly prepared a birthday celebration just for the two of them. She even made him a handmade shirt decorated with elegant details that perfectly match his style. Julius is completely speechless. Meanwhile, Elsa nervously worries that she may have crossed a line. Their marriage began as an agreement, and she fears he might think she's becoming too involved. But instead of being upset, Julius is genuinely touched. Hearing Elsa warmly call him "my husband," while wishing him a happy 24th birthday melts a piece of the icy wall around his heart. At this rate, that frozen heart doesn't stand much of a chance. It's finally the day of the Sun Festival, the celebration that marks the founding of the Kingdom of Ralt. The whole kingdom is buzzing with excitement, and Elsa is especially happy because she rarely gets the chance to leave the palace. The only downside is that every noble in the kingdom shows up, meaning she has to spend hours smiling, greeting people, and pretending she's not completely exhausted. By the time she gets home, she's more than ready to relax. Not long after, Elsa's younger brother, James, comes to visit. He's been worried about her ever since she married into the royal family. As they chat, he realizes she and Julius don't actually spend much time together. He also asks if the nobles are treating her well, since people from powerful families aren't exactly famous for being kind, especially to someone who grew up poor. Elsa reassures him that everyone has been nice to her and happily tells him about her daily life. Meanwhile, James reveals he's studying law and justice, so he jokingly tells her that if anyone ever bullies her, she should collect evidence and report everything to him. At this point, he's less of a brother and more of a one-man legal defense team. Since the festival is still going on, James suggests they go enjoy it together. Technically, Elsa isn't supposed to leave the palace for safety reasons, but James is so polite and trustworthy that even the maids decide to let them go. Serafina spots Elsa walking away with a mysterious man. Later, Serafina finds Julius and invites him to a party her father is hosting that evening. Julius politely compliments her and greets her like the perfect gentleman. But it's all part of Prince Alexis's mission to secretly investigate Serafina's family. Then Serafina casually mentions that Elsa left the palace with another man. The moment Julius hears that, something inside him immediately snaps. Suddenly, that party doesn't seem very important anymore, so he turns Serafina down on the spot, leaving her standing there looking completely disappointed. Before rushing off, Julius accidentally drops one of the twin charms Elsa had given him as a gift. Serafina quietly picks it up, and while it seems like a small detail now, it's definitely going to matter later. Julius frantically asks the maids where Elsa went. As soon as they tell him she's at the festival, he doesn't waste another second. He runs straight there and starts searching everywhere. Even he can't understand why he's acting like this. After all, he was the one who made it crystal clear that their marriage was only for political convenience. So why is he suddenly panicking? Then he finally spots Elsa, happily walking beside another man. Jealousy hits him like a truck. Without thinking, he marches over and demands to know who the guy is. Elsa, completely confused, calmly introduces the mystery man as her younger brother, James. The moment Julius hears that, every bit of tension instantly disappears, realizing he just got jealous of his wife's little brother. He's so embarrassed he practically wants the ground to swallow him whole. Elsa apologizes for leaving without telling him first. James quickly notices what's really going on. Seeing how worried Julius was, he realizes the prince genuinely cares about his sister. Deciding he's become the world's biggest third wheel, James quietly makes an excuse and leaves the two of them alone. And just like that, what started as a misunderstanding turns into a proper date. Julius buys Elsa a candy apple. They stroll through the festival together, try delicious food, watch the performances, and simply enjoy each other's company. Julius can't stop smiling as he watches Elsa happily hum little tunes while she walks beside him. It's such a small habit, but somehow it's his favorite thing in the world. Elsa is just as happy because she never imagined she'd get to spend such a wonderful evening enjoying the festival with her husband. After returning to the palace, Julius can't stop thinking about the wonderful time he and Elsa shared at the festival. Meanwhile, Elsa absent-mindedly brushes her hair while listening to her favorite music box. But then disaster strikes. She accidentally knocks it off the table, and it crashes onto the floor, shattering into pieces. This isn't just any music box, it was one of the precious keepsakes Elsa inherited from her parents. At the same time, Julius realizes he has also lost one of the matching charms Elsa gave him. Feeling guilty, he spends the entire day searching the palace, hoping he'll find it somewhere. Prince Alexis quietly watches all of this unfold, along with the palace maids, who are still hopelessly crushing on Julius. Married or not, the prince clearly hasn't lost his fan club. Julius wants to tell Elsa that he lost her gift, but he has no idea how she'll react. He keeps looking for the right moment, but before he can confess, Elsa arrives looking unusually sad. For a second, Julius thinks she somehow found out about the missing charm. Instead, she shows him her broken music box and asks if there's anywhere it can be repaired. Julius lets out a silent sigh of relief. The missing charm can wait. For now. He immediately takes Elsa to a repair shop, hoping for good news. Unfortunately, the craftsman explains that the music box was made in the Kingdom of Liberum, not Ralt, so they don't have the special parts needed to fix it. Elsa's face instantly falls, and seeing her so disappointed breaks Julius's heart too. Wanting to cheer her up, Julius buys her some sweet waffles before asking if he can borrow the music box for a while. He doesn't explain why, but Elsa trusts him enough to hand it over. Julius then brings the music box to Prince Alexis. The prince instantly recognizes its design and explains that it was crafted in the Kingdom of Liberum, where he once studied. If anyone can repair it, it would be the craftsman there. Julius admits that fixing the music box isn't just a favor. He wants it to become a proper gift for Elsa, especially because he still feels guilty about losing the matching charm she gave him. Hearing this makes Prince Alexis smile. His plan is working even better than he expected. Julius hasn't lost his ability to love after all. Alexis then gives Julius one final piece of advice. Yes, he ordered Julius to marry Elsa. But he never said it had to be a loveless marriage. There's nothing stopping him from genuinely loving his wife and enjoying the life they share together. With that encouragement, Julius immediately travels to the Kingdom of Liberum to have the music box repaired. Meanwhile, Elsa keeps working in her little garden, but she can't stop worrying. She wonders if she made a mistake by giving Julius the music box. Even though it was broken, it was still one of the last precious memories she had of her parents. Maybe she should have told him she wanted to keep it just the way it was. Then Julius finally returns, carrying a surprise. He proudly hands Elsa her music box, now perfectly repaired. The moment she opens it, the familiar melody fills the air once again. Julius finally realizes where Elsa's adorable little humming habit came from. She had been unconsciously humming the tune from this music box all along. But that's not the only surprise. Julius also gives her a beautiful floral hairpin decorated with the same flowers and patterns as the music box. Since both items came from the Kingdom of Liberum, they match perfectly. Elsa is overwhelmed with happiness. Even more importantly, she gets to share the music from the precious keepsake with Julius. Her parents had once told her that this melody was meant to be listened to with the person she truly loved, making the moment even more special. After spending a little time together, Julius heads back to work, leaving Elsa standing there with rosy cheeks and a smile she can't hide. Everything seems perfect, at least for now, because somewhere else, Serafina is staring at the matching charm Julius dropped, and she's already plotting exactly how to use it. Her plan is simple: send it to Elsa's house and let the misunderstanding do all the damage. Safe to say, their peaceful married life is about to get a whole lot messier. With her husband's permission, Elsa finally hosted her very first tea party. Instead of serving ordinary desserts, she surprised everyone with sweets made from vegetables she had grown herself. The guests were completely stunned when they discovered the secret ingredient. Rebecca happily took another bite, unable to believe vegetables could taste this good. Elsa also served fragrant herbal tea and, noticing Serafina sitting quietly, politely offered her a cup as well. Rebecca was caught off guard that Elsa had invited Serafina in the first place. Elsa warmly complimented Serafina's appearance, while Serafina noticed Elsa's lovely hair accessory. Elsa cheerfully explained that it was a gift from Julius and even mentioned how he had traveled all the way to Liberum just to repair her precious music box. Serafina forced a smile and remarked that Julius had always been generous with women, saying he had given her beautiful gifts too. Still, she admitted he was also very thoughtful towards his wife. Serafina clearly hoped to make Elsa jealous, but poor Elsa completely missed the hint. Instead, she innocently offered to show her the repaired music box. That was definitely not the reaction Serafina was hoping for, so she quickly declined. After the tea party, Rebecca cautiously asked whether Serafina had said anything strange. Elsa simply replied that Serafina had complimented her hair clip. She also happily shared that she had given Julius a shirt and a pair of cufflinks for his birthday. Just as Rebecca was leaving, Serafina walked over and handed Elsa one of those cufflinks. She claimed Julius had accidentally left it behind while the two of them were alone together. It was an obvious attempt to stir up trouble. That evening, Julius was still searching for the missing cufflink. After looking for it for nearly 2 weeks, he decided it was finally time to tell Elsa the truth. However, the moment he arrived home, he completely forgot what he wanted to say because Elsa looked absolutely stunning. His brain practically stopped working. Both of them started talking at the same time, but Julius let Elsa speak first. She calmly handed him the missing cufflink and explained that Serafina had returned it during the tea party. Julius immediately realized he must have dropped it after speaking with Serafina at the Sun Festival. Relieved to finally have it back, he smiled brightly. Watching his sparkling expression made Elsa blush, but after remembering Serafina's comments, she simply convinced herself she would have to get used to Julius naturally charming everyone around him. Meanwhile, Julius was left even more confused. Elsa didn't seem bothered that Serafina had the cufflink, nor did she look jealous in the slightest. He sadly concluded that she probably didn't see him as a romantic partner at all. With nothing else to do, both of them quietly went to bed. The following morning, they shared breakfast as usual. Julius warned Elsa that work would keep him late again and gently told her not to wait for dinner. After he left, Elsa planned to spend the day sewing with the maids. Just then, she overheard one of them panicking because Julius had forgotten an important document case. Without wasting a moment, Elsa decided to deliver it herself. When she arrived at the royal castle, she was amazed by its enormous size and luxurious halls. Using a map, she slowly made her way through the building, stopping every few minutes to admire the beautiful scenery like an excited tourist on her first holiday. She was eventually directed to the south wing, where Julius was working. But along the way she stumbled upon a breathtaking garden filled with rare flowers she had never seen before. As Elsa admired the plants, a handsome nobleman approached and politely asked whether she was lost. Startled, she apologized for wandering into the garden without permission. After introducing himself, she realized he was Jarmo, Serafina's older brother. The resemblance between the siblings was impossible to miss. Elsa introduced herself as Julius's wife, and Jarmo revealed that he and Julius had attended the Royal Academy together. Curious, Elsa eagerly said she would love to hear stories about Julius's school days someday, not the romantic gossip, but the kind of things he enjoyed and what he was really like. Jarmo found her refreshingly amusing. Since he knew Julius and Elsa had barely met before their marriage, he asked how the two had ended up together. Remembering her promise to Julius, Elsa carefully explained that it had been an arranged marriage based on their family's status. She became so nervous that she accidentally dropped the box she was carrying. As Jarmo picked it up, he warned her that someone as kind and innocent as her could easily get hurt because Julius was surrounded by countless romantic rumors. Then, with a confident smile, he added that if she were with him instead, she would never have to wear such a troubled expression. Talk about shameless flirting. Before things could become any more awkward, Hannes appeared. He was surprised to see his sister there, while Elsa was equally surprised to find him working in the castle. Hannes explained that after graduating, he would become a civil official, so he had already started helping organize documents and deliver orders to gain experience. When Elsa mentioned she had come to deliver Julius's forgotten documents, Hannes offered to guide her since he was heading there anyway. Elsa thanked Jarmo, who smiled and said he hoped they would meet again before the siblings continued on their way. On the way to Julius's office, Hannes quietly warned Elsa to be careful. Even though their family had fallen on hard times, they were still descendants of a lost royal bloodline, so they had to watch their words around powerful nobles. Elsa simply explained that Jarmo had only spoken to her because he thought she was lost. Hannes wasn't so convinced. From his point of view, his innocent sister looked like a tiny rabbit casually chatting with a very hungry fox, and she had absolutely no idea. Soon they arrived at the castle's enormous library, where Julius handled his work. Elsa handed the forgotten document case to the librarian, who immediately recognized that the papers were needed for an important decision that very day. Elsa also gave her a basket of homemade sweets, asking her to share them with everyone working there. When the librarian learned she was Julius's wife, she couldn't help comparing Elsa's warm, genuine smile with the many arrogant ladies who usually came looking for Julius. Since his meeting was almost over, she kindly offered Elsa the chance to wait and greet him. Not wanting to interrupt his work, Elsa decided she would simply talk to him over dinner instead. Of course, fate had other plans. Just as she turned to leave, she accidentally bumped straight into Julius himself. She explained that she had come to deliver the documents he had forgotten. At that moment, Alexis and Jerry also arrived and were delighted to finally meet Elsa. Alexis couldn't help thinking the married couple looked ridiculously adorable together. Elsa happily mentioned that she had also brought homemade carrot cakes and hoped even the crown prince would enjoy one. As the staff eagerly praised how delicious they were, Julius quickly told everyone to leave a few slices for him before they disappeared. Elsa politely excused herself to head home, but Julius instinctively reached out to stop her. Unfortunately, he froze, unable to think of a single thing to say. Seeing his hopeless attempt at romance, Alexis jumped in and suggested Julius take a short break and enjoy some tea with his wife somewhere quiet. Elsa smiled and revealed she had already given Julius some carrot cake earlier that morning. She had secretly hidden it among the breakfast scones because she noticed he seemed distracted and wanted to make sure he ate more vegetables. She even adjusted the recipe to remove the strong carrot smell, making it much easier for him to enjoy. Julius realized she had quietly been paying attention to all his likes and dislikes this entire time. After taking a bite, he admitted it was delicious, making Elsa beam with happiness. Watching her smile, Julius couldn't help wondering how she had slipped so naturally into his life without him even noticing. Just as the sweet moment was beginning, Julius opened the door and caught Alexis, Jerry, and Hannes shamelessly eavesdropping outside. Busted. After chasing away the world's nosiest audience, Julius sincerely thanked Elsa for bringing his forgotten documents. On the way home, Elsa suddenly realized she had completely forgotten to mention meeting Jarmo. Unfortunately, someone else hadn't forgotten. From an upstairs window, Jarmo quietly watched her leave with a mysterious smile. A few days later, Julius stands in front of his wardrobe, completely overthinking what to wear. He tries to pick something that matches Elsa's elegant but simple style. He doesn't want to dress too flashy, but he also doesn't want to look like he got ready in 5 minutes. After all, this is their first real date. He invited Elsa out to thank her for bringing those important documents to the palace. When he asked where she wanted to go, she admitted she didn't know the capital very well. As for her hobbies, she shyly said she enjoys gardening, sewing, and other household chores, adding that she had never really stopped to think about what she truly liked. Julius smiles and decides he'll choose the destination this time, but promises that in the future they'll explore all kinds of places together. After finally settling on an outfit, a maid tells Julius that his wife is waiting in the entrance hall. The moment he sees Elsa, he's completely stunned. On the way to the carriage, she happily admits that she was so excited about today that she barely slept the night before. Julius immediately turns red and can't stop thinking about how beautiful she looks. During the carriage ride, Elsa tells him how happy she was when he invited her out. With clear blue skies overhead, it couldn't have been a more perfect day. Their destination turns out to be a newly opened botanical garden. Julius picked it because he remembered how much Elsa loves flowers and gardening. The plan works perfectly. Elsa is fascinated by every corner of the garden, praising the beautiful flowers and how carefully they're maintained. They eventually reach a section filled with colorful flowers imported from southern countries, and Elsa sincerely thanks Julius for bringing her somewhere so wonderful. Throughout the entire visit, she keeps calling him "my husband," and to Julius' surprise, he doesn't mind it one bit. Things take a hilarious turn when they enter the carnivorous plant section. Julius isn't bothered by the plants at all. It's the insects buzzing around that have him ready to surrender. He awkwardly dodges them, but one stubborn bug flies straight toward him. Before he can panic any further, Elsa calmly steps in and saves him. She gently tells him not to worry and promises she'll deal with any insects that dare bother him again. To make things even funnier, she even knows the names of several bugs, leaving Julius both impressed and slightly embarrassed. After escaping the insect battlefield, they stop near a fountain. Elsa mentions that she grew up in the countryside, so she'd never visited a place like this before. Soon she notices a familiar-looking plant and remembers an old man from her village who used to gather edible wild plants. He also taught everyone how to recognize poisonous ones. She explains that one method is to gently rub the plant on your wrist or elbow and wait about 15 minutes to see if a rash or swelling appears. Julius chuckles, telling her she's a genuinely fascinating person. The unexpected compliment instantly makes Elsa blush, and an awkward but sweet silence settles between them. Gathering his courage, Julius decides it's finally time to be honest. He reminds Elsa that they once agreed their marriage was only for convenience, but before he can confess that his feelings have changed, his perfect romantic moment gets completely ruined. Germo suddenly appears out of nowhere and greets them with perfect timing. Or rather, the worst timing imaginable. Julius is surprised to learn that Elsa already knows Germo. She compliments the beautiful garden, saying it's obvious someone has been taking great care of it. Julius asks why Germo is there, and he explains that his family funds the botanical garden, so he regularly visits to inspect it. He then asks Julius if Serafina's invitation to the grand opening party ever reached him. Julius admits he's been buried in work and instructed his staff to reject every non-essential invitation, so he never even saw it. Hearing this, Elsa quietly realizes Julius has been working late almost every day lately, and she can't help wondering if he's pushing himself so hard because of her. Germo says he understands before returning to his duties, leaving the couple to continue their walk. Watching them from a distance, he reflects that Julius has always seemed like the perfect noble who never lets his emotions show. But after seeing his flustered reactions around Elsa, he's beginning to think the prince might actually be human after all. Once they're alone again, Julius asks Elsa where she met Germo. She apologizes for forgetting to mention it earlier and explains that they met when she first visited the castle. Germo was the one who introduced himself. Julius accepts the explanation, though his earlier reaction probably made it look like Elsa had accidentally wandered into some noble family drama. Worried she may have done something wrong, Elsa remembers her brother's advice about being careful around important people. She nervously asks if she behaved respectfully and whether she caused Julius any trouble, admitting that she still has a lot to learn about high society. Julius can't help but think back to the days before he met Elsa. Whenever he escorted noble ladies, everything always went smoothly. But now, every time he spends time with Elsa, something unexpected happens. As if the universe wants to prove his point, the skies suddenly open up, and a heavy downpour sends them running for the nearest shelter. Once they're out of the rain, Julius reassures Elsa that she didn't cause him any trouble. He explains that Harma was in the same class as him at school, but they were never close friends. That's why he was surprised when Harma suddenly approached her. Hearing that immediately puts Elsa's mind at ease. Meanwhile, Julius can't shake a growing suspicion. The Pernilla family has close ties to the faction opposing the monarchy, and in just 5 years, Count Pernilla has gained an unbelievable amount of power. Julius finds the source of that wealth suspicious, and Harma's sudden interest in Elsa only makes him even more curious. He quietly starts wondering what Harma's real intentions are. Seeing Julius lost in thought, Elsa changes the subject. She thanks him for today's outing and tells him she had an amazing time. Even though they're both completely soaked, she smiles and says she actually loves the rain because listening to it always makes her feel peaceful. Julius closes his eyes to enjoy the sound as well, but concentrating is impossible when Elsa is standing right beside him. In a quiet voice, he admits that he's truly happy she's his wife. Unfortunately, the rain decides to be the world's biggest third wheel and drowns out his confession before Elsa can hear a single word. A moment later, Elsa sneezes. Without hesitation, Julius drapes his coat over her shoulders so she won't catch a cold. Since the rain shows no signs of stopping anytime soon, they have only one option left to make a mad dash for the carriage and hope for the best. When they finally return home, the servants discover that Julius has passed out in the carriage. Elsa explains that he looked exhausted and fell asleep almost immediately. A maid reveals that Julius barely slept for days just so he could make time for their date. When they fail to wake him, they realize he's burning with a fever. A doctor is called and diagnoses him with a bad cold, ordering plenty of rest and medicine. While unconscious, Julius relives a painful childhood memory. After a horse riding competition, he and his mother spot his father happily spending time with another woman. Furious, she drags young Julius away as heavy rain begins to fall, calling what was once a perfect day a terrible one. Then the memory shifts, and Julius hears Elsa's gentle voice saying she loves the sound of the rain. He wakes up to find her faithfully sitting beside his bed. Elsa explains that he collapsed on the way home from the botanical garden and caught a cold, while she stayed healthy thanks to the coat he gave her. As she's about to get him some water, Julius quietly asks her to stay by his side a little longer, making Elsa smile with happiness. The next morning, Julius wakes up feeling much better and finds Elsa asleep in a chair after watching over him all night. She brings him a traditional family drink to help him recover. Although Julius looks at it like it's a punishment in a cup, he drinks it anyway to avoid hurting her feelings. Julius apologizes for making her care for him all night, but Elsa insists it wasn't a burden. She reminds him they're family now, so taking care of each other is only natural. Her words make Julius realize this marriage has become far warmer than he ever imagined, and for the first time in years, he truly feels like he has a family. The moment gets even lighter when Elsa reveals the special drink was only juice before handing him his actual medicine. After recovering, Julius apologizes to Prince Alexis for missing work. Alexis says Elsa already informed him, then gives Julius an urgent undercover mission. A grand party is about to be held at Count Pernilla's estate, and Julius must secretly investigate what is really going on there. Subscribe to not miss the next part and watch the next video on screen.